found out my best friend had been sleeping with my boyfriend for 6 months. The same night, I asked her to be my maid of honor. I'll never forget the way her face went white when I showed her the ring. Not happy white, not surprised white, guilty white. She hugged me anyway. Tight, too tight, like she was trying to squeeze the truth back inside her chest before it came spilling out. "I'm so happy for you," she whispered into my hair. But her voice cracked on the word happy. I didn't know yet. Not really. I just thought she was emotional because we'd been best friends since we were 14. I thought she was crying because she loved me. But when I pulled back, I saw it. That look, the one you never forget once you've seen it. Fear. My boyfriend, fiancé now, I guess, was in the kitchen getting champagne. Emma's hands were shaking. She kept glancing at the door like she wanted to run. What's wrong?" I asked. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. And that's when he walked in with 2 glasses and a smile that didn't reach his eyes. That's when I knew something was very, very wrong. Before I tell you what happened next, make sure you're subscribed, because this story gets darker than you think. Let me back up 3 hours before that moment. Before the ring. Before the guilt written all over Emma's face. I'd spent the entire day thinking was going to be the best night of my life. Jake had asked me to dinner at Marcello's, the Italian place where we had our first date 3 years ago. I knew what was coming. I'd seen the charge on our joint credit card 2 weeks earlier. $8,400 at a jewelry store downtown. I didn't say anything. I wanted to be surprised. I called Emma that afternoon, practically vibrating with excitement. "He's going to propose tonight," I whispered into the phone, even though I was alone in my apartment. "I know it. I can feel it." There was a pause on the other end. Too long, too heavy. That's amazing, Liv," she said finally. But her voice sounded hollow, distant. "You okay?" I asked. "You sound weird." "Yeah, no, I'm fine, just tired. Work's been insane." I didn't push. Emma was a nurse. 12-hour shifts, always exhausted. I figured she was just burnt out. "Well, rest up," I told her. "Because if I'm right, you're going to be my maid of honor. And we're going to have so much wedding planning to do." Another pause. "I'd be honored," she said quietly. I didn't hear the double meaning in those words. Not then. That night, Jake picked me up at 7. He looked nervous, kept adjusting his collar, wouldn't meet my eyes. I thought it was proposal jitters. God, I was so stupid. Dinner was perfect. Candlelight. Wine. He kept staring at me across the table with this intense look I couldn't quite read. "You're beautiful," he said. "You know that." I blushed. Even after 3 years, he could still make me feel like a teenager. "You're not so bad yourself," I teased. He reached across the table and took my hand. His palm was sweating. "Liv, I need to ask you something." My heart stopped. This was it. He pulled the small velvet box from his jacket pocket. My breath caught. But before he could open it, his phone buzzed on the table. Face up. I saw the name, Emma. The preview of the text was just visible. "Did you tell her yet?" "Jake, you promised." He snatched the phone so fast, he almost knocked over his wine glass. "Sorry," he muttered. "Work thing." But his face had gone pale. And suddenly, that intense look made sense. It wasn't love, it was guilt. Still, I wanted to believe. I needed to believe. He opened the box. The ring was beautiful, princess cut. Exactly what I'd always wanted. "Olivia Marie Bennett," he said, his voice shaking. "Will you marry me?" I should have said no. I should have asked about the text. I should have trusted my gut. But I'd been planning this moment since I was a little girl. And the ring was so pretty. And I loved him. Or I thought I did. "Yes," I whispered. "Yes, yes, yes." He slipped the ring on my finger. It fit perfectly. We kissed. The restaurant clapped. The waiter brought complimentary champagne. And the whole time, all I could think about was that text message. "Did you tell her yet?" "Tell me what?" On the drive home, I couldn't take it anymore. "What did Emma want?" I asked, trying to sound casual. Jake's hands tightened on the steering wheel. "Nothing. Just asking about coverage for her shift this weekend." "You don't work at the hospital," I said. "She was asking if I knew anyone," he shot back, too quickly. "Why are you interrogating me? We just got engaged." He was right. I was being paranoid. Crazy. This was supposed to be the happiest night of my life. "Sorry," I said. "You're right. I'm just overwhelmed." He relaxed a little, reached over and squeezed my hand. "Let's go celebrate. Want to call Emma? Have her come over." The suggestion should have felt normal. Emma was always around. She was my best friend, my sister from another mister. But something in his voice made my skin crawl. "Sure," I said. "I'll text her." I pulled out my phone, started typing, then stopped. Instead, I opened Jake's location history. We'd shared our locations years ago, after I'd gotten lost hiking, and he'd panicked when I didn't answer my phone. I scrolled back through the last few months. Most of it was normal. Work, home, the gym. But there were gaps. Hours where his location was turned off. And when it was on, there was a pattern I hadn't noticed before. Every Tuesday and Thursday night, around 9 p.m., he was at an address I didn't recognize. I pulled it up on Google Maps. It was Emma's apartment building. My stomach dropped. "Liv, you okay?" Jake's voice snapped me back. "Yeah," I lied. "Just texting him now." I typed with shaking hands. Jake proposed, "Come over and celebrate." She responded in seconds. "OMG, on my way." Too many exclamation points. Too much enthusiasm. Emma never used that many exclamation points. She arrived 20 minutes later with a bottle of champagne and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. That's when I showed her the ring. That's when her face went white. That's when I knew, but I still didn't want to believe it. We sat in my living room, the three of us. Jake poured champagne. Emma kept checking her phone. I kept watching them. The way they didn't look at each other. The way they both seemed to be holding their breath. "I want you to be my maid of honor," I said to Emma, watching her face carefully. She burst into tears. Not happy tears, not even sad tears. Guilty tears. "Em," I said, my voice breaking. "What's wrong?" She looked at Jake. He shook his head, just barely. A tiny movement, a warning. But Emma was breaking. I could see it. The weight of whatever she was carrying was crushing her. "I can't do this," she whispered. "I can't. I'm so sorry." "Can't do what?" I asked, even though I already knew. Deep down, I already knew. Emma stood up, grabbed her purse, headed for the door. Wait. "I have to go," she choked out. "I'm sorry, Liv. I'm so sorry." The door slammed behind her. I turned to Jake. He was staring at his champagne glass like it held the answers to the universe. "What was that about?" I asked. "I don't know," he said. "She's been weird lately." "Weird how?" "Just stressed, emotional." I stood up, walked to where he sat on the couch, looked down at him. "How would you know?" I asked quietly. "How would you know she's been emotional?" His eyes met mine, and in that moment, I saw everything. The affair, the lies, the months of betrayal. "Liv, how long?" I asked. "I don't know what." "How long?" I screamed. He flinched, set down his glass, put his head in his hands. 6 months, he whispered. The room spun. 6 months. Half a year. While I was planning our future, he was sleeping with my best friend. "Why?" I asked. But what I really meant was, why her? Why Emma? Why the person I loved most in the world besides you? He looked up at me, and I'll never forget what he said, because she understood me in a way you never did. Not "I'm sorry," not "I was weak," not "it meant nothing." He blamed me for his cheating, for his betrayal. I ripped the ring off my finger and threw it at him. It bounced off his chest and skittered under the couch. "Get out," I said. "Liv, please. Get out." He left, finally. The door closed behind him, and I collapsed on the floor. I called Emma 47 times that night. She didn't answer once. The next morning, I woke up on the floor, still in my dress from the night before. My phone had one new message from Emma. "I'm so sorry. You deserve to know everything. Meet me at Morrison's Coffee at noon. Come alone." I almost didn't go. Part of me wanted to block Emma's number, block Jake's number, and pretend the last 12 hours had been a nightmare. But I needed to know. I needed to understand how the two people I trusted most in the world could do this to me. I showed up at Morrison's at 11:45. Early. I wanted to see her walk in, wanted to watch her face before she put on whatever mask she'd prepared. I ordered a black coffee I wouldn't drink and sat in the back corner booth. The same booth where Emma and I used to study for finals in college, where we'd laughed until we cried, where she'd held my hand when my mom died 2 years ago. She arrived at 12:03. Late. Emma was never late. She looked terrible. No makeup, hair in a messy bun, eyes swollen from crying. "Good," I thought viciously. "I hope you haven't slept. I hope you're drowning." She slid into the booth across from me. Didn't order anything. Just sat there, picking at her cuticles, not meeting my eyes. "Talk," I said. My voice sounded dead, empty. She took a shaky breath. "It started 6 months ago, after your birthday party." My birthday party. I remembered that night. Jake had been distant, distracted. I thought he was stressed about work. Emma had stayed late to help me clean up. Jake had offered to drive her home because she'd had too much wine. In the car, I asked. My voice was cold, clinical. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. We were talking. He was telling me how worried he was about you, how you'd been so sad since your mom died, how he didn't know how to help you. So you decided to fuck him, I interrupted. That's how you helped. She flinched. No, God, no. It wasn't like that. We connected. He understood what I was going through. My dad had just been diagnosed with cancer, and you were so wrapped up in your own grief. So this is my fault, I said, my voice rising. I was grieving my mother, and that gave you permission to sleep with my boyfriend. No, Emma said desperately. That's not what I meant. I was lonely. He was lonely. It was one kiss. One stupid, drunk kiss. And then we both agreed it was a mistake, and we'd never tell you. I laughed. It came out harsh and bitter. But you didn't stop there, did you? She shook her head. Fresh tears. We tried. For 3 weeks, we avoided each other. But then you invited me to game night, and he was there, and we kept catching each other's eyes, and what? You couldn't help yourselves. You're adults, Emma. You made a choice. Again and again and again. For 6 months. She was sobbing now. Full, heaving sobs that made people at other tables turn and stare. I know, she choked out. I know. I'm a terrible person. I'm the worst friend in the world. I hate myself. You have no idea how much I hate myself. Good, I said, you should. She looked up at me then, and what I saw in her eyes shocked me. It wasn't just guilt. It was something else, something deeper. There's more, she whispered. That's why I asked you to meet me. There's something else you need to know. My blood ran cold. What? She reached into her purse with shaking hands and pulled out a small white stick. A pregnancy test. Positive. The world tilted. My vision blurred. I thought I might throw up right there on the table. No, I breathed. No, no, no. I found out 3 days ago, Emma said, her voice barely audible. That's why Jake proposed to you. He wanted to end things with me. He wanted to choose you. He said the baby was a mistake and that I should handle it. Handle it. Like her pregnancy was a problem to be solved, a mess to be cleaned up. I should have felt vindicated. Jake had chosen me. Even knowing Emma was pregnant, he'd proposed to me. But all I felt was sick. Does he know you're telling me? I asked. She shook her head. He'd kill me if he knew I was here. What do you want, Emma? I asked. Why are you telling me this? To make yourself feel better? To ease your guilty conscience? No, she said. I'm telling you because you deserve the truth. All of it. And because, she hesitated. Because I need to know what you want me to do. I stared at her. Are you seriously asking me for permission to have my ex-boyfriend's baby? I don't know what I'm asking, she said helplessly. I don't know anything anymore. I can't afford a baby. I can barely afford my rent. But I don't know if I can go through with an abortion. And Jake won't talk to me. He blocked my number this morning. Of course he did. Jake was a coward. He'd always been a coward. I just hadn't seen it before. This isn't my decision, I said. This is your life, your body, your choice. But it affects you, Emma said. If I keep it, you'll have to see this baby. You'll know. Everyone will know. your family, our friends. They already know, I interrupted. I texted everyone this morning, told them the engagement was off, told them why. Emma went pale. Everyone, I confirmed. Your mom, your sister, my dad, our entire friend group. I'm not keeping your secret anymore, Emma. I'm done protecting you. She looked like I'd slapped her. Liv, do you love him? I asked suddenly. The question surprised even me. Emma blinked. What? Jake, do you love him? Or was it just sex? Just excitement? Just something to make you feel alive? She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. I don't know, she admitted. In the moment, I thought I did. But now I think I just loved the way he looked at me. Like I was special. Like I mattered. You mattered to me, I said, and my voice finally broke. You were my best friend. You were my family. And you threw it away for a man who won't even answer your phone calls. She buried her face in her hands. I know. I would do anything to take it back. But you can't, I said. That's the thing about betrayal, Em. There's no undo button. You made your choice. I stood up, grabbed my purse, started to walk away. Liv, wait, Emma called after me. What should I do? About the baby? I turned back, looked at her one last time. This girl I'd known for 15 years. This girl who'd been my maid of honor at a wedding that would never happen. Figure it out yourself, I said. I'm done cleaning up your messes. I walked out of Morrison's Coffee and didn't look back. But Emma wasn't done, not even close, because 3 days later, she showed up at my apartment at 2 a.m., pounding on my door, screaming my name. And what she told me that night changed everything again. The pounding on my door jolted me awake. Aggressive, desperate, the kind of knocking that says someone's either dying or running from something. I grabbed my phone. 2:17 a.m. 7 missed calls from Emma. Liv, she screamed through the door. Liv, please, I know you're in there. Please open the door. My neighbor's light flicked on across the hall. I could hear him shuffling around, probably debating whether to call the cops. I threw on a robe and yanked the door open. Are you insane? It's 2 a.m. The words died in my throat. Emma looked wild, hair tangled, mascara smeared down her cheeks. She was wearing pajamas and a coat thrown over them. No shoes, just socks. And her lip was bleeding. Oh my God, I breathed. What happened? She pushed past me into the apartment, looking over her shoulder like someone was chasing her. Lock the door, she said frantically. Lock it, please. I locked it, deadbolt and chain. Emma, you're scaring me. What's going on? She collapsed onto my couch, shaking. It was Jake. He came to my apartment. He was drunk, so drunk, and he was angry. Angrier than I've ever seen him. My stomach dropped. Did he hurt you? He grabbed me, she said, touching her split lip. Started yelling about how I'd ruined his life, how I'd told you about the baby and destroyed everything. He said I was a manipulative bitch who trapped him. I felt a strange mix of emotions. Anger at Jake, disgust, but also a tiny, shameful part of me that thought, good, now you know how it feels. I pushed that thought down. hated myself for even thinking it. Did you call the police? I asked. She shook her head. I can't. Liv, there's something I didn't tell you. Something worse. Worse than the affair and the pregnancy, I said flatly. She looked at me with those red, swollen eyes. The baby isn't Jake's. Time stopped. What? It's not his, she repeated, her voice cracking. I lied at the coffee shop. I lied to you. I sat down slowly on the armchair across from her. I don't understand. Emma pulled her knees to her chest, making herself small. I am pregnant. That part's true, but I don't know whose it is. It could be Jake's, or it could be. She trailed off. Could be who, Emma? I demanded. Your brother's. The room spun. My brother, Ryan. My sweet, innocent little brother who was in grad school, who'd just gotten engaged to his girlfriend of 4 years. No, I said. No, you're lying. I wish I was, Emma whispered. It was one time, one night, 3 months ago. He came to my apartment to drop off your birthday present, the one you left in his car. You were working late. He stayed for a drink. We were talking about you, actually. About how worried we both were about you after your mom died. And then, stop, I said. Stop talking. But she didn't stop. It just happened, Liv. 1 minute we were sitting on the couch, and the next we were kissing, and I don't even know how it started. We both freaked out immediately. He left. We agreed never to speak of it again, never to tell you. So you've been fucking my boyfriend and my brother, I said, my voice ice cold. Not like that, she protested weakly. It wasn't. Ryan was once. Jake was. More. Oh well, that makes it so much better, I said sarcastically. You only fucked my brother once. What a saint. I'm broken, Liv, Emma said, tears streaming. I know that. There's something wrong with me. I destroy everything I touch, everyone I care about. Does Ryan know? I asked. About the pregnancy. She shook her head. No one knows except you and Jake. And Jake thinks it's definitely his. I let him think that. I needed him to take responsibility. Jesus Christ, Emma, I breathed. Do you hear yourself? You're lying to everyone, manipulating everyone. For what? Because I'm terrified, she shouted. I'm 27 years old. I'm broke. I'm alone. And I'm pregnant with a baby that might belong to one of 2 men, both of whom hate me now. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fix this. You can't fix this, I said. You've blown up my entire life, my relationship, my trust. And now you're telling me you might have slept with my little brother too. I'm sorry, she sobbed. I'm so sorry. Stop apologizing, I yelled. Your apologies mean nothing. They're just words, empty, meaningless words. She flinched like I'd hit her. We sat in silence. The only sound was her crying and the hum of my refrigerator. Finally, I spoke. Why did you really come here tonight? Emma looked up. What? Jake hitting you, that's not why you're here. You could have gone anywhere. Your mom's, your sister's, a hotel. But you came here to me, the person you betrayed. So why? She was quiet for a long moment. Then, because you're the only person who's ever really known me, the real me, not the version I pretend to be. And I needed someone who would tell me the truth. The truth, I repeated. Yes, I need you to tell me what kind of person I am, because I don't recognize myself anymore." I looked at her, really looked at her. This girl I'd grown up with. This girl who'd braided my hair before prom, who'd held me when I cried over my first breakup, who'd been at my mom's funeral, gripping my hand so tight I thought my bones would break. And I told her the truth. "You're someone who's hurting," I said slowly. "You're someone who lost herself somewhere along the way. But you're also someone who made terrible choices, who hurt people who loved you, who betrayed trust in the worst possible way." "I know," she whispered. "I'm not done," I said. "You're also someone who can choose differently from here on out. You can be honest. You can tell Jake and Ryan the truth. You can stop manipulating people and start facing consequences. You can be better." "Can I?" she asked. "Can someone like me really change?" "I don't know," I admitted. "But you won't change by running to my apartment at 2 a.m. looking for absolution. I can't give you that. I can't forgive you. Not yet. Maybe not ever." She nodded slowly. "That's fair. But I can tell you this," I continued. "You need to tell Ryan tonight. And you need to get a paternity test. And you need to stop lying to everyone, including yourself." "Okay," she said quietly. "Okay." She stood up, wiped her face. "Can I stay here tonight? Just on the couch. I'm scared to go home, in case Jake comes back." Every fiber of my being wanted to say no, wanted to throw her out, wanted her to suffer. But I thought about my mom, about what she would do. She always said that love wasn't just a feeling, it was a choice to show up even when it was hard. "One night," I said, "and tomorrow you start telling the truth." She nodded, whispered, "Thank you." I got her a blanket and a pillow, locked myself in my bedroom, and cried until I had no tears left. The next morning, Emma was gone, but she'd left a note on my counter. I told Ryan, "He's getting tested. I'm getting tested. I'm telling Jake the truth too. Whatever happens now, I deserve it. Thank you for giving me a place to fall apart. I'll never forget it." 3 weeks later, I got a text from an unknown number. It was a photo, a paternity test result. Probability of paternity, 99.9%. And underneath, it's mine, Ryan. Ryan showed up at my apartment 2 hours after I got the text. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. Unshaven, hollow-eyed, wearing the same sweatshirt I'd seen him in 3 days ago at Dad's house. "Can I come in?" he asked quietly. I stepped aside, let him in. We sat on opposite ends of the couch, the same couch Emma had slept on 3 weeks ago. "How's Sarah?" I asked, his fiancée. Ex-fiancée, I realized. "She left me," he said. His voice was flat, emotionless. Took the ring off, threw it at my face, actually. Gave me this. He pointed to a small cut above his eyebrow. "I'm sorry," I said, and I meant it. "Are you?" he asked. "I slept with your best friend, betrayed my fiancée, got someone pregnant. I'm pretty sure I deserve a lot worse than a cut and a broken engagement." "You probably do," I agreed. "But you're still my brother." He laughed bitterly. "Some brother. I can't even look at myself in the mirror, Liv. Every time I do, I see Dad, when he cheated on Mom. Remember? I did remember. I was 16. Ryan was 12. We'd found out together, overheard a phone call Dad thought was private. It had nearly destroyed our family. Mom had forgiven him eventually, but something broke that never quite healed. "You're not Dad," I said. "Aren't I?" Ryan said. "I cheated. I lied. I hurt everyone I care about." Sounds exactly like Dad to me. "Dad did it for years," I said. "You did it once. You made a mistake. A huge, terrible mistake. But one mistake. One mistake that created a whole human being," Ryan said. He put his head in his hands. "I'm going to be a father, Liv. I'm 25 years old. I'm in grad school. I have $40,000 in student loans, and I'm going to be responsible for a child." "What did Emma say?" I asked. "She wants to keep it," he said. "She's 12 weeks along now. She's already had 2 ultrasounds. She showed me pictures. His voice cracked. "It's real. This is really happening. Are you going to be involved?" I asked. He looked at me like I'd asked him if the sky was blue. "Of course, I'm going to be involved. It's my kid. I don't get to run away from that just because I'm scared." Despite everything, despite all the anger and hurt and betrayal, I felt a flicker of pride. My little brother stepping up. "What about Emma?" I asked. "Are you together?" "God, no," Ryan said quickly. "We're not together. We'll never be together. What happened between us was a mistake, but we have to figure out how to co-parent, how to be in each other's lives for the next 18 years. That's going to be hard," I said. "Everything's going to be hard," he said. "But the hardest part is knowing I destroyed your friendship. You and Emma were like sisters, and I ruined that." "You didn't ruin it alone," I said. "Emma made her own choices. So did Jake. You all did." "Have you talked to Jake?" Ryan asked. I shook my head. "He's texted me 100 times, called, sent flowers, even showed up at my work once. I've ignored all of it. He's miserable," Ryan said. "For what it's worth. I saw him last week. He looks terrible." "Good," I said, and I meant it. Ryan gave me a sad smile. "You're allowed to be angry, you know, at all of us. You don't have to be the bigger person." "I know," I said, "but if I let myself be as angry as I really am, I'm afraid I'll never stop. I'm afraid the anger will consume me, and I won't let them take that from me too. My peace, my sanity, my ability to move on." "You're stronger than me," Ryan said. "No," I said, "I'm just more tired." We sat in silence for a while. Then Ryan said, "Dad wants to do a family dinner this Sunday. He wants to talk about everything, Emma included." "Emma's coming," I said, surprised. "Dad invited her," Ryan said. "He said if she's going to be the mother of his grandchild, she's family now, whether we like it or not." I laughed. It came out a little hysterical. "This is insane. This whole situation is absolutely insane." "Will you come?" Ryan asked. "I can't do this without you." I wanted to say no, wanted to tell him to figure out his own mess. But he was my brother, and despite everything, I loved him. "I'll come," I said, "but I'm not making any promises about being nice." "Fair enough," Ryan said. Sunday came too quickly. I pulled up to Dad's house at 6 p.m. Ryan's car was already there. So was Emma's. I sat in my car for 5 full minutes, debating whether to just drive away. But I'd promised Ryan. So I took a deep breath, grabbed the bottle of wine I'd brought, and walked inside. Dad greeted me at the door, pulled me into a tight hug. "Thank you for coming, sweetheart." "Don't thank me yet," I muttered. Emma was in the living room, perched on the edge of the couch like a bird, ready to fly away at any moment. She'd started showing. Just a small bump, but visible. She looked up when I walked in. Our eyes met. She opened her mouth like she was going to say something, then closed it again. "Liv," she said finally. "Just my name, nothing else." "Emma," I replied coldly. Ryan appeared from the kitchen. "Okay, everyone's here. Should we?" "Eat," Dad said firmly. "Let's eat first, then we'll talk." Dinner was the most awkward meal of my life. Dad tried to make small talk, asked me about work, asked Ryan about school, asked Emma about her pregnancy cravings. Emma talked about pickles and ice cream. Ryan talked about his thesis. I mostly pushed food around my plate and drank too much wine. Finally, Dad cleared his throat. "All right, let's address the elephant in the room." "Which elephant?" I said. "There are several." Dad gave me a look. "Liv." "Sorry," I muttered. "Continue." Dad looked around the table. "What happened between you three is messy and painful and complicated. But like it or not, you're going to be in each other's lives for a long time. That baby," he pointed at Emma's stomach, "is going to tie you all together. So we need to figure out how to move forward." "How?" I asked. "How do we move forward from this?" "Honestly," Dad said, "with boundaries, with respect, and with acknowledgement that everyone here made mistakes." "Not everyone," I said. "I didn't do anything wrong." "You're right," Emma said quietly. "You didn't. This is all on us. On me, mostly. And I am so sorry, Liv. I know sorry isn't enough. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. But I need you to know that I wake up every single day hating myself for what I did to you." "Good," I said. "You should." "Liv," Dad started. "No," I interrupted. "You wanted honesty. Here's honesty. Emma destroyed my life. She slept with my boyfriend. She slept with my brother. She lied to me for months. And now I'm supposed to sit here and have dinner with her like we're all one big happy family. Because she's having Ryan's baby." "Yes," Dad said. "That's exactly what I'm asking you to do." I stared at him. "Why?" "Because the alternative is letting this tear our family apart," Dad said. "I've seen what that looks like. When your mother and I went through our issues, it nearly destroyed us. Destroyed you kids too. I won't let that happen again." "This is different," I said. "Is it?" Dad asked. "People make mistakes, Liv, terrible, hurtful mistakes. But they're still people. They're still capable of change, of growth, of redemption." I looked at Emma, at Ryan, at Dad. "I don't know if I can do this," I admitted. "I don't know if I can sit at the same table as her and pretend everything's okay." "I'm not asking you to pretend," Dad said. "I'm asking you to try, for Ryan, for that baby, for yourself." Emma spoke up. "Liv, I don't expect us to be friends again. I don't expect you to ever trust me. But I am asking you to let me try to be better. to show you that I'm more than the worst thing I've ever done. I took a long sip of wine, thought about my mom, about forgiveness, about what it really means to let go. I need time, I said finally. I need a lot of time. And therapy, so much therapy. Ryan laughed. It broke the tension just slightly. I can give you time, Emma said. All the time you need. And boundaries, I added. Strict boundaries. I don't want details about your pregnancy. I don't want to be at the baby shower. I don't want to pretend we're all best friends. Okay, Emma said, whatever you need. But I continued, looking at Ryan. I will be at the hospital when the baby's born, because that baby is my niece or nephew. And they didn't ask for any of this. They deserve to be loved. Ryan's eyes filled with tears. Thank you, he whispered. The dinner ended shortly after that. Emma left first, then Ryan. I stayed behind to help Dad with dishes. I'm proud of you, Dad said, as we loaded the dishwasher. For what? I asked. I was a bitch the whole time. For showing up, he said. That took courage. It took wine, I corrected. He smiled, that too. 6 months later, I got a call at 3 a.m. It was Ryan. She's here, he said. His voice was thick with emotion. The baby, she's here, 8 pounds, 4 ounces, healthy, perfect. Congratulations, I said, and I meant it. Will you come meet her? He asked. I know you said you needed boundaries, but I really want you to meet her. I looked at the clock. 3:14 a.m. I had work in 5 hours. I'll be there in 20 minutes, I said, when I walked into that hospital room and saw my brother holding his daughter for the first time. Something inside me shifted. The anger was still there. The hurt was still there. But so was something else. Love for that tiny baby, for my brother, for the messy, complicated, broken family we'd become. Emma was asleep in the bed, exhausted from labor. I didn't wake her, just stood next to Ryan and looked down at my niece. What's her name? I whispered. Grace, he said. Her name is Grace. Grace, undeserved favor, unearned forgiveness. Perfect. I reached out and touched her tiny hand. She gripped my finger with surprising strength. Hi, Grace, I whispered. I'm your Aunt Liv, and I promise you, no matter what happens, no matter how complicated this family gets, I will always love you. And in that moment, I realized something. Forgiveness isn't about pretending the hurt never happened. It's not about forgetting or excusing or moving on like nothing changed. Forgiveness is about choosing love anyway, even when it's hard, even when it hurts, even when you don't want to. I didn't forgive Emma that night. Maybe I never fully would, but I forgave myself for loving people who hurt me, for hoping they'd be better, for being human. And sometimes that's enough.